This video I will be showcasing you a more budget version of my Widowhail Spark build. Based on the feedback from the last video, I'll be including showcases in this video. So let's start off with a quick dunes map. Specifically for mapping, I don't run Righteous Fire because it's part of my defense with regen. I can actually use my energy shield for defense here. I only use Righteous Fire when I need damage. After this map showcase, I will showcase a few bosses and Sanctum, and then go into death in proper building with a price breakdown. I put this build together for like 30 div, and I think you can do it cheaper on League Start, but it's just an example. Personally, I would not start it with 30 div. I'm planning on farming more than 30 div before converting to this version of Spark. However, if you truly do want to play it, it's viable at this budget. It scales very far into the late game. You can take it from 10 divs maybe till like multiple mirrors. It's whatever you really want to do with the build. Not the best showcase with a heavy essence monster, but it is what it is. Like, I think the essence monster like that, normally you would want to run you want to run Righteous Fire because it's part of your damage. But it's whatever. I'll show you an invitation and a maven kill that gives a better showcase of the actual damage on single target. So I'll leave it at that for the map. Let's get to the showcase that I pre-recorded. This is a item level 83 Sanctum. I did get both the more damage and less maximum life boons in this run. However, compared to normal League Start scenario, I would be running a lower level of Sanctum instead of 83 to get the build stronger before you move into 83 Sanctums. And I would be running relics that make it easier. In this case, I'm just running random relics that I've found myself instead of like you can get up to like 60% increased damage taken on bosses or something with relics to make it easier, which is a significant difference, and it's also very easy to skill boss this damage. It's just a showcase of that it is possible. That it's possible at a budget. It's not what I would personally do, but as long as you can run some Sanctums, right, you will earn enough currency to upgrade and to make it smoother. This Sanctum run I found like 1 div, maybe 1.5 div worth of currency. And your average Sanctum runes will be like 2 div or something, and you run 1 or 2 Sanctums and you can do upgrades to the build and get it going from there. So just being able to complete a Sanctum baseline is enough to get going, right? When it comes to invitations and maven, it's very nice that you can clear your atlas. So I've got a showcase on the formed invitation and the hidden invitation, and after that the maven. Spark is fantastic in the maven area. It is most crucial, especially when you skill projectile speed. I can literally stand in the middle of this area, fill up the entire area, start the invitation, and just keep casting from the center. Everything will die. When you need more single target, be sure to use your sniper's mark. I keep forgetting it sometimes. There as well, those gloves that drop, that's the base that you also need for the 8-link gloves that we're using. So those are currently 1 div, the base. I don't know what the base will be worth in League Start, honestly. then hidden and maven, and like in total I earned like 3 div across these showcases, which means that's like 3 div to upgrade your character, right? So this isn't the smoothest version, definitely. Pretty div is on the low side to make a character like this. I would personally not do an Aurastacker variant on 30 div. It is possible, as you can see, but I'm planning on doing a more regular version of Spark or a different kind of Templar build to get going, to get like a 50 div investment into the build before starting Widowhail Spark myself. But that's up to you what you want to do. This merely to showcase that it is possible. I'll show the entire maven fight with a few parts of it, and then I will be diving into PUB after. So as you can see here, you just fill up the entire maven area as he spawns. You put sniper's mark on her and you kill her fast enough. Similarly for the brain phase, just keep spamming. Any boss that spawns here just gets instantly hit as well, because the entire render is filled up. Let's get to the very last phase here. Memory game. Be sure to not touch those lasers, because your regen will be turned off. You have no longer have RF. I got greedy there. Just like 5% HP or something. I got greedy trying to kill her. But it's whatever. Finish her off. Took me one portal, didn't have to cost one portal, you can easily do deathless. Orc of Conflict right there is like 1 on a C or something, so as you can see the total here is like 3 div to upgrade into the build. So yeah, that's what the build is capable of on a 30 div budget or something. Let's dive into the PUB, the gear that I'm using, the price breakdowns and some small tips. So for this version I am using a lower percentage Widowhail, it's a 238%. I accidentally 6-linked it. I was trying to 5-link it and it did a 6-link before a 5-link. In reality you would actually prefer a 5-link, because right now I'm running my clarity on arrogance because it's a 6-link. However, if it's a 5-link instead, you can run your clarity on mana instead, which should fit perfectly, like 35 unreserved mana, the 34 mana cost. In which case I have more unreserved life. I can get a higher level on my precision than I have now, which gives more crit. So it's actually better to have a 5-link. Anyways, I did it on the 6-link variant, so you don't need a 6-link. Quiver, I took a very simple fractured projectile speed quiver with a few crit multi-assets on it until I have life, crafted flat damage. The attack speed and damage with both skills here are completely irrelevant, they do nothing. So it's just crit multi-assets until life. I'm using Heat Shiver without an enchant, so it's like really cheap Heat Shiver. For the body armor, I did decide on getting the fractured lightning damage with extra chaos damage base. You don't really need it if you decide against it, or if it's too expensive. It's a very minor damage upgrade, like it's 2% of the damage. It's just that I decided like get the correct base, do a very basic craft on it, and you can upgrade it later. What I did here is simply craft it with mana reservation efficiency SSS. I literally put like 2 SSS on it until that 10% and whatever for suffixes. Regen is very nice, the fire res is unneeded. I'm way overcapped on the resistances. The regen is nice, but it's whatever, honestly. Just get the reservation efficiency. Make sure you fill up the suffixes. If the suffixes are not filled, you can do a benchcrafted prefix and do a beastcraft prefix to suffix to fill up your suffixes, and once your suffixes are full, you simply do a suffix lock. You can do that with a wild prismatron and do a field chaos orb, get percent life. You block spell, you benchcraft spell block or attack block before unveiling to increase the odds of getting percent life. Then you craft flat life on top of it. Very simple craft. I put the lowest tiers of Aura effect on it. Should be able to get those with self-found Eldritch currency based on your Atlas progression. Otherwise, it should be relatively cheap. Then for the boots, simply get a fractured tier 1 resistances. Craft it with Chaos SSS. It should only take like a couple SSS to get a second tier 2 or above resistance. Then I got the life on the essence roll. However, I would prefer to actually not get it, because if your suffix is done, you can simply do a suffix lock with Alt Prismatron, Beastcraft, and then do a field chaos orb, block a benchcraft mod. I believe you block mana, and then you unveil for movement speed. You get the 28 something movement speed instead of 20, so more movement speed, which is just nice. Preferably with onslaught on kill, and then craft life instead, which is like 70 life, so it's barely even less life. I prefer the movement speed over life, so I didn't want to roll over this one for the sake of this POB, but like in reality, do the field chaos or variant, and implicit is just same thing as the last one. You take the lowest tiers and just roll it with whatever you found yourself, get extra speed, life regeneration rate. Gloves, for the sake of this budget pop, I bought the cheapest one available on trade. These were 8 div. In reality, a low tier one like this, just any tier and a random tier, you could create them probably even cheaper right now. I don't know at leak start. I really can't tell. Just for the sake of the video, I just wanted to buy the cheapest one of thread. In reality, if you craft it yourself, you probably get higher tier mods, which is also more damage. Like for example, if you get field T1s, it's like already 9% more damage as well. So that's for the gloves. You craft them with 3 socket resonators, with glyphic, deft, and Turek fossils until you get the crit chance and the crit multi. Ideally, you would get the faster casting at the same time. You get either you get either the faster casting or the crit multi together with the crit chance. Ideally, the third one as well, but if you don't, you can suffix lock and reforge for the third one. You can reforge caster for faster casting or reforge crit for the crit multi. Then you do suffix lock, reforge speed for faster projectiles. The crit multi and faster casting is like 50-50 and faster projectiles guaranteed. And then you just benchcraft the +1 on a low budget, and you go to Iceling +2 on the high budget, but you leave it out for now. Rings, simple Call of the Brotherhood with quality for conversion. Belts, you get Cyclopean Cool. This is really good for an Inquisitor. The attributes give you crit, you get damage per attributes. With the distribution between the attributes, I'm getting both Ignite immunity for strength being higher than Dex and shock immunity for intelligence being higher than the strength. I'm getting freeze immunity from Pantheon, so this belt plus your Pantheon gets you freeze, ignite, and shock immune. For Flask, a Bottle of Fate, if you can afford it, is just really good for crit. And for normal Flask, just get some crit, armor, movement speed. I crafted them with increased duration and used my charges when reach full. It's just whatever. For your jewels, you probably need some reservation efficiency jewels. Normal jewels, try to get crit multi on them if you can. I bought these for like 30C or something. For the large cluster jewel, you definitely want Doriani's Lesson to get Leech, combined with Petrified Blood that gives Overleech, Prismatic Heart for resistances, and Snowstorm for extra damage. A medium cluster jewel with Repeater Streamline, just good damage projectile speed. Another reservation efficiency jewel, but with corrupted plot immunity. And a small cluster jewel with 25% effect, mana reservation efficiency, and salutary efficiency. This can be any of your 50% auras, but I found the Zealotry one to have the best mod along with it, like the increased effect of Consecrated Ground for your regen. And in this low budget variant, I'm just using 3 times Resistance Ground Spectrum. Ideally, you would be using a Damage Ground Spectrum. This can way overcapped on resistances. Like you would use this 15% increased elemental damage per Grand Spectrum version, where it's just like 6% more damage. However, for some reason right now they're like 3 divines. They're way cheaper at League Start, so definitely get this if you can early. But like right now they're too expensive for some reason, so I decided to just skip on those to keep it a bit cheaper. For the tree, it's mostly the same as the high budget tree, except that you don't have the Militant Faith and a Natural Instinct combo yet, which you can easily add if you have the budget for it. And you're getting the mana efficiency over here around Science Start because of the reduced mana cost nodes instead of the Arcane Search effect nodes here. Because they don't have the Forbidden Jewels for Arcane Search yet. And you don't have the Mage World Flask with reduced mana cost yet. So you need to get the reduced mana cost here. You're getting resistances from the tree instead of from the Militant Faith. For skill gems, it's mostly the same. I'm running a level 3 Enlightened to keep it cheaper, which also means in this version I'm not running Blood and Sand yet. I don't have an Ashes, so the alt quality Blood and Sand is not giving a lot in this version yet, and it's kind of an expensive gem at League Start as well. Same Guardian's Blessing setup. Auras. I'm also running the Arrogance setup in a 5-link to have Enlighten in it with Precision. That's because I don't have the 15 something reservation efficiency from Ashes of the Stars, which also works for your life, because that's not mana reservation efficiency, but general reservation efficiency. So you need some more life reservation efficiency than you would need if you have a Ashes, so you need to run a level 3 on Iden. For Spark, the Virgin Spark with additional projectiles is coupled to fine. Other than that, it's mostly the same. I'm choosing to run it with Determination. I did get the alt quality for Hatred for freeze, chill and freeze duration. Freezes in PoE are discarded if the duration is too short, so getting increased chill and freeze duration helps to get more consistent freezes. And getting freeze is important for heat shiver, so it's one of the odd qualities that I value the most in this build actually. So especially on a lower budget, you get less consistent freezes, so I think the Hatred adds a lot. However, for a pure mapping version, just drop Hatred, run Grace instead. Rune Grace instead of Hatred. On your Quiver, instead of flat damage, craft Armor Innovation. And instead of a Assault plus Granite, you can run a Jade plus Granite and you get a decent amount of Armor Innovation. Just make sure to adapt to whatever content you're running. Is the main takeaway there. For the price breakdown, I've got the prices for everything that I paid for this build roughly written down here in the notes section. Actually, I didn't go over the amulet yet. I forgot. Amulet is simply just get some stats to cap your to get your dex and preferably strength for some crit, because strength in combination with righteous providence gives more crit, and in combination with iron will gives more spell damage as well. So definitely try to get some strength. Other than that, I simply took a +1 on lightning. The fire rest I don't need. The spell damage is whatever. The 40% spell damage is okay. Crafted life, champion of the cause for reservation and fish aura effect. Let's see, back to the notes section. So, yeah, I've spent like only 1 div on the quiver. Quiver is definitely something that's worth upgrading. It's centerpiece around your Widowhail, of course. If you can get some kills assistance on it or something, but it will significantly increase the cost. Body armor. I bought the base for like 1 divine, only a few SSs and 1 suffix lock, but also like 2 div in. I calculated 2 div in fusings, which is not what I spent. I literally spent like 200 self-found fusings on the body armor, but to keep it a bit more realistic and replicatable, I chose to count it as 2 div for 6 linking it. Similarly with the boots, I counted the boots at 2 div, even though I spent only 80c, but in a yeah, you would be expected to have to reforge it, which in my opinion would also be better. 2 div Bottle of Fate, 2 div Divergent Spark. Large Cluster Jewel is kind of expensive, 3 div, but all the costs are here. It's sub 30 div. And yeah, this will get you started. It's not the smoothest build. Is if 30 div is your budget cap, I do not recommend this honestly. However, it's enough to get going, and this build scales insanely well. It's more so a showcase that it is possible at 30 div rather than saying that this is a good build at 30 div. It definitely excels if you spend more on it, if you go 100 div plus. So definitely only play it if you're willing to invest into the build. Some last things, I did not use any tattoos in the spiritual POB. That is both to replicate a budget POB and to have it be viable for next league. However, there's a few cheap options with tattoos possible this league, and there's probably some other form of power creep next league as well. We don't know yet. We don't know if we'll get tattoos. We don't know what kind of power is being added next league. So just to show that if you're doing it this league, if you simply get a +1 all intelligence skill jumps tattoo on your the int node here, for example, it's already 10% more damage. So so definitely make use of it. Like don't be hard to do this POB if next league provides new borrowed power, new power creep. Definitely make use of it. If you're still playing this in this current league, definitely pick up this tattoo. Start working on more tattoos that can add power. This is just a bare bones version. Similarly, uh, yeah, just work towards upgrades. If you get a better gloves, that can already be 9% more damage. If you get the Grand Spectrum, it's probably 6% more damage as well. There's a lot to improve in this POB. A lot that can be improved easily, cheaply. However, this is like a bare minimum. Um, Realistically, for myself, I would not start this at 30 div. I would start it at 50. I would have many of those upgrades. This is currently 6.5 mil DPS with only one hit per spark cast. However, with the way I would start it, it would be over 10 mil, which would just make it significantly smoother. I would also not be playing it with this speed. I would be getting Tailwind Onslaught Elusive Boots and just be a lot faster. It's a lot of quality of life as well. I would be getting Ashes, Ashes of the Stars, in combination with Anomalous Blood and Sand for projectile speed. And there's many more things I would upgrade. Um, but it's just a baseline, a concept of a budget. It's I tested it in game. This works. This gets you going. It does what it needs to do, and from here you can farm. Because like getting an average 2 div per sanctum or something, even if it's a bit of a struggle yet, as long as you can complete them, as long as you can complete like 2 sanctums an hour, you're already getting like 4 div an hour. And yeah, you play like 2.5 hours for 10 div, and um, you basically upgrade this to 10 mil or something.